The boat show of Palma in Mallorca in May 2002, and we're going to look at the Privlege 435 Easy Cruise. Here she is, an exhibition in the port of Palma at this boat show here, and we'll take a walk aboard and have a look at the outside and inside of the 435. Walking on board the passerelle, you see the easy entrance into the cockpit, and in the cockpit we see the cockpit cushions out and the saloon table folded, and she's closed up because we've just had some very heavy rains here. This is the view you get from the rear of the cockpit, and we'll take a walk around the deck to have a look on deck. As you see, there are ample side decks. It's very easy to move along the side deck onto the flush foredeck, where we have this particular boat set up with an easy cruise option, which includes bowsprit Jenica. And you can see the dolphin seats here, 4 beam and trampolines, and I'll take a walk on the trampoline and you can see it will support my 105 kilograms easily. So here's a view of the boat from the trampoline. You can see one window has the Battleline cover on here for sun diffusion, and one of the saloon windows does not. You'll see the difference when we go inside the boat. Here we have the electric anchor windlass with the controls and a long stainless steel trough going to a Breton, oh sorry, this is a Bruce anchor, and facility for storing a second anchor, which is often a Breton. This particular boat has profile furling gear manual in this case, and there's also a stopper on the deck which controls the tack of the Jenica or cruising spinnaker if required. Going back to the mast, we can see the mainsail in its lazy bag with the lazy jacks in place, and the bimini with the front screen attached. This is a situation we see from the foredeck, and the 2 hatches on the deck here just in front of the mast are from the 2 forward double cabins. Here we take a view inside the anchor locker, and we can see in this case a Delta anchor, chain and warp, ready to be deployed, and obviously plenty of room for the stowage of other items. There's also another door here at the back of the locker for further stowage. I'm sitting in one of the dolphin seats on the starboard bow, looking at the one on the port bow, and this is the view that you see from this position, looking at the whole deck. And we'll pan up to have a look at the rig in position. Radar on the spreaders, radar reflector on the port side, and you can see the various wind instruments and radio antenna at the top of the mast. Looking at the base of the mast, we see the water filler cap there just by the mast foot, a teak step up. Then on the top of the coach roof we can see the leads for the Genoa sheets and the main sheet, and you'll see 2 leathered stripes either side of the boom on top of the bimini. These are walkways, so you can actually walk on top of the bimini if you want to get at various parts of the mainsail. Here I am standing on the bimini. If you don't believe that it is standable. I'll take my excessive weight again, and it's very easy to walk down from here onto the deck and see where you can get at every part of the mainsail. Also on top of the lazy bag you can see a very simple zip system that seals up the whole of the mainsail against ultraviolet. With one simple pull you close up the entire mainsail. This extra cover is for when you're leaving the boat for some time. It will cover up the entire front of the lazy bag, all the halyards, and the top of the mainsail headboard and slides. Right here. You see the slider system on the mainsail is very friction free and has roller bearing cars which aid the assistance of hoisting the mainsail. Here's a shot of the mainsail halyard, which happens to be holding a flag up at the moment, and that you can see it's a 2-to-1 halyard going to the masthead. Here we see the cockpit arrangement on the starboard mid-deck, and there is somebody being shown the engine room on the starboard side at the moment. You can see how easy the access is in here. That's the water maker installed there, and there'll be the generator on the other side. Here is the steering console from the 435, and you can see a double seat, which is actually a double seat. And if we go up from the seat position and look at the controls and instruments, you see a compass above the steering pedestal, the steering wheel with the brake lock. On the top right here is apparent wind indicator that will show you true and apparent wind direction. This is autopilot, depth and speed. So engine controls on the left, engine instruments down below. This boat in particular is set up for main sheet control here by the wheel. So main sheet goes through this clutch organizer and will go back to the electric winch, which may work. No, it's not switched on. So you can run the port side generator sheet and the main sheet from this winch. Clutches for both. The bracket on the top here is to take a repeater, a large repeater of the chart plotter, which we'll see inside in the navigation area. Okay, we'll now take a walk into the saloon from the cockpit. You'll see, before we go into the saloon, the teak grid over a large sump, and perhaps you might see through there the extremely large drain holes. So any water coming into the cockpit will drain through the sump or drain straight out of the back of the cockpit on the two walkways, as we see one on the starboard side. Here we are in the saloon, and we'll do a very slow pan around the saloon so you get an idea of what it looks like here. Through past the galley, bar and worktop, microfiber upholstery and finish with a drop leaf saloon table, and the finish is all cherry wood finish here, looking down into the starboard hull, and then back out from the saloon table area, and this is what the cockpit is looking like. Let's have a good look at the navigation setup, and we'll go through the various panels overhead. We see here is a battery monitor and charging systems, tankage, generator controls, DC and AC panel with breakers. Over here, looking on the surface, is a weather control monitor and a nav text. This one here is a GM DSS VHF radio, the new ones with the distress system. Here is the Raytheon chart scroller GPS radar combined unit with the big slave system up over the wheel we saw earlier. Cassette tape deck, mains plug outlet, VHF radio, and a switchable repeater for the various instruments. Right in front here is the joystick that's connected with the autopilot for dodge and steering control. In the chart table we see plenty of room for charts and navigation instruments, with a stool that will pull out underneath it. Okay, going into the galley, we see there's one step down from here in the saloon to the galley, and this hatch here is revealing the portside escape hatch. Here it is with it removed, and I'll put it back in position. Now, looking around the galley, we see gas cooker with oven and grill here, a hotspot, protected Korean finish on the galley, and the clever idea for putting the rubbish through here, various spice racks and arrangements, coffee machine, and twin stainless steel sinks. Down here we see a fridge freezer right in here, bottle of champagne in there. Plenty of cupboards and storage spaces, and here's a bar area with crockery and cups and mugs and so on here. Then we look on towards the saloon table. We see the table is fiddled with a pleasant trim, and the stools are fixed so that when the drop leaf comes up, you've got seating for probably 8 to 10 people, I would say, here. And as we pan back towards the saloon door, you can see it slides very easily closed, which will seal off the saloon both against weather and sound, and of course keep the air conditioning secure. For you to get weather inside here would be probably very unusual unless you had the bimini top down, and as we look up here we see that unzippable section in the bimini as well.
I'm not trying to say you shouldn't
Here we are in the starboard hull, looking down at the starboard companionway, and here is the escape hatch through here. The step is removable for full access to the hatch. You can just see the catch that holds the step in position, so both steps will come out. And looking through into the starboard aft double cabin, you can see very light, comfortable double berth here, which is actually a thwartships across the boat. The hatch above is dark because there is the sunbathing cover on it at the moment. That's the dark blue cover you could see from the earlier shots. Storage area here, and if we close this door and open here, we see a cupboard or locker with battery switches and foul weather gear inside. This is the view from the starboard aft cabin, and we'll take a walk forwards. Before we do, just to have a look at these cupboards here, which open up with a sort of scrolling curved door. This is a common theme about many of these lockers. Very easy to access. Here you see a very simple gauge for looking at the water content of the freshwater tank. Looking back, there's a surface here. Storage lockers, full length if you want to hang full length clothes. And we'll go forwards into the forward starboard berth. So you step up, there's a seat here, vanity seat, steps up, plenty of storage underneath the berth, double berth with again those slats for ventilation and a full orthopedic mattress there. You can see through the air conditioning vents, hatch above, and reading lamps on the bulkhead. Still in the starboard forward double berth. Open this out. Here's the head and shower with plenty of protection against like loo roll holder here, for example, so you don't get the loo paper wet. Shower, cupboards, sink arrangement, light up there, and each hatch has security here for privacy. If you're showering at night, you can just pull that across, and loo in there as well, electric loo. Coming back along the starboard hull, we can see midships there is another head and shower. So each cabin has its own head and shower in the boat, with same arrangement for the sink, shower pulls out, hatches, and port lights which actually open. And you can see there's a drop screen above it as well for privacy. We're in the starboard, the port forward hull, and here's the head and shower, which is a sort of mirror image. And again, athwartships double berth, and looking aft towards the starboard aft cabin, a port aft cabin. We can go through here. We hear the freezers just kicking in, and the fridge as well. There's a cooler and a freezer right here. So you've got 3 fridge, freezer, coolers operating there. Plenty of storage space in the section next to the fridge freezers. And you can see here we're midships in the port hull again. Where that work surface is, we've also got a microwave above here as well, and more storage, full-length storage here in this locker. Just have a look at these lockers underneath the light diffuser, which is just by the navigation station here. Plenty of natural light coming through here. More lockers, and in the lower part there's the main wiring, bus bars and breakers and fuse panels for the main fuses and switches. Over here we have the same head and shower arrangement as we had on the starboard hull. Sink, loo and shower with the same simple vanity arrangement, so you can maintain privacy again. Port hull still, and we're going to the aft cabin. Walking into the aft cabin, the bed's not made up, so you can see the mattresses, and here we have the same storage arrangement and double berth storage compartments above there by the berth, and lateral ventilation, if you wish, from 1, 2, 3 hatches. When you close this door, it becomes very quiet and soundproofed, and there's a small seat there so you can sit and put your socks on. Now I'd like to show you something about the Privlege standard of construction. We'll just lift bilge cover up here. This will do. Let's have a look, see what we find. Well, first of all, you can see what you need in a catamaran is a vacuum cleaner to clean the bilges, not a pump, because that's all you see in the bottom is dust. There's a skin fitting there, water strainer and pump. You see how everything is properly plumbed, strapped, tied and conduited, and everything very clean and tidy inside. This is not a new boat. I'd say she's obviously done a few miles, but look at the condition, it just looks brand new. This is what you see when you look behind the scenes. A boat that is extremely well prepared from the very beginning and maintains that state throughout its life. Okay, on the deck, on the port side, we're going to look at the port engine room, which opens with this key. And we're going to go down into the engine room. That's the generator box there, and the muffler mixer from the main engine. So I'll get down into the engine room and we'll have a look around. I hope you noticed that I'm actually in my boat show clothes, so the engine room is that clean. We're looking at the main steering system here with the rudder stops, and connected to that is the autopilot control. Here is the Northern Lights generator exhaust and water intake system. I'm actually almost astride the generator box itself, and looking up we can see various ducting and plumbing systems all beautifully conduited in. Here is the main port engine. I don't know if the light's good enough to see it, but it can be accessed from the double bunk in the cabin as well. Okay, let's have a look at the cockpit locker setup here. First of all, this is the life raft locker, and you can see there's plenty of storage in here, and there's a life raft in situ. Now the interesting thing about this locker is that it's accessible from both sides of the boat. This is the top access, and there's a drop door underneath the bridge deck, so you can access it from the other side as well. Going aft, you see there's a large locker here with plenty of storage for flat things. It's about almost half a metre deep, and plenty of space for coiling hose pipes and sort of large flat things as well. Let's have a look at one of the bench lockers. Very deep, almost a metre deep, and extending underneath the sides as well, from here and here. You can see from the transom there, the transom door, which lifts up, and a swim ladder will swing out from that position. The swim ladder is on the port transom door here, and panning up we see shore supply, plug in there, and on the left we see a shower for when you come in from your swim, and in here it looks like an air connection as well. Right next to it is the opening for the emergency tiller connection. Looking up along the guardrails you see the stern light, and looking up to the rear of the rear beam you see the davit structure I believe these are stressed to 800 kilograms. We're having a look now at the main sheet controls. Here is the traveller control running through 2 stoppers and a traveller control winch here, and you can see the traveller runs the width of the cockpit, and there is the main sheet traveller dead-ended off at the end of the boom, and in this case travels along the boom, exits near the gooseneck, and is controlled by the port general winch. So you see all the sail controls, main sheet, over here starboard genoa sheet and port genoa sheet, are all outside the safe area of the cockpit. So you can have passengers who don't understand boats and children and so on safely in the cockpit with no threat of being attacked by flailing sheets. Looking on the port side of the forward face of the rear beam, we see a hand socket for a bilge pump, and over here is quite interesting. It's a hose pipe snap collection for fresh water, so you can wash the boat down with fresh water. Well, there you see the Privlege 435, fully equipped in the Easy Cruise version, ready to cross oceans and take you to new places.